The first bite hit a paper. It was a very small piece of paper, folded into a tight square, smaller than a thumbnail. It was thin, almost transparent, and soaked in olive oil to protect it from the moisture of the food. No one at the grand table saw it. The diners were too busy talking, laughing, and clinking their glasses together. They were important people dressed in fine clothes, their faces lit by the warm glow of candlelight. They tasted the soup, a rich and creamy broth of leek and potato, and noticed only the flavor. Only one person in the entire building knew the secret was there, nestled at the bottom of the bowl. And that person was the chef, standing silently in the heat of his kitchen. His name was Marco. He was not a spy, not a soldier, not a man of politics. He was a chef. Flour, fire, flavor. Word of Marco's unique ability spread, not through loud advertisements, but through quiet whispers in back alleys and shadowed doorways. People who needed help, people who couldn't trust the usual channels, began to find their way to his kitchen. A lover needed to send a forbidden letter. A journalist needed to smuggle out a memory card with a dangerous story. A family needed to send a key to a safe house. Marco became their silent partner, a ghost in the culinary world. He could make small, important things disappear and reappear where they were needed most. He established two simple rules for his clandestine work. The first rule was absolute. The task must do no harm. He would help people escape danger, but he would never help anyone cause it. He refused to transport weapons, poisons, anything that could be used to hurt another person. His second rule was practical. Payment could be made in cash, but he preferred rare ingredients, old family recipes, or simply a good bottle of wine. He was a chef, after all, and his passion for food was still at the core of who he was. A helper, offering a different kind of nourishment. One cold evening, a man in a dark, heavy coat appeared at the kitchen's back door. He didn't look like Marco's usual clients, clean-shaven, rigid, wearing a government insignia. The man spoke in a low, urgent voice. With the job accepted, Marco's mind immediately turned to the menu. The method of concealment had to be perfect, both elegant and undetectable. He couldn't use anything obvious. A hollowed bread roll was too common. A pastry cavity could be exposed by a wrong cut. He needed something that would be consumed completely, leaving no evidence behind. He stopped at a classic, fish baked in a salt crust. Brilliant, but brittle and common. Instead, he would make a thin, seasoned, edible shell, baked crisp like a cracker. He shaped the shell around a beautiful whole sea bass, and made a small, precise incision near the belly. Inside, a tiny pocket. The message? A scrap of flash paper that dissolves at a touch, its ink visible only seconds after air. He sealed the opening with flour and egg white paste, culinary glue. He wrapped the fish, sculpted rustic, and placed a single fennel seed above the eye, the signal. He prepared 5 identical dishes, but only one held the message. The scent of baked fish, lemon, and herbs filled the kitchen. It smelled of the sea, of home, no aroma of danger. The secret lay deep, protected by perfect dough and an unwavering calm. The night of the diplomatic dinner arrived, and the grand hall buzzed with electric tension. Crystal chandeliers cast glittering light over dark suits and elegant gowns. Flags stood as silent witnesses. The air was thick with conversation, the clink of silverware, the subtle scent of expensive perfume. The ambassador, a man with a practiced smile and watchful eyes, delivered long words about peace and cooperation. Under the civility, a life hung in the balance. Waiters moved like synchronized dancers through the maze of tables, each bearing the main course. He followed one plate, the one with a single fennel seed. It passed the guards and settled in front of the intended guest at table 3. A quiet aide who had barely spoken all evening looked down, his expression unreadable. The most dangerous part was about to unfold. He had been told to look for a small imperfection, A maker's mark. He tapped and broke the crisp crust. Lemon and thyme wafted up. He ate carefully, nearer the hidden incision. Then a pause. Eyes flicked down. He had found it. With a practiced motion, he lifted the piece, shielding with his hand, reaching for water. The flash paper dissolved. The message was delivered. No one noticed. Just as a wave of relief washed over Marco, a new threat emerged. A senior security officer announced a surprise inspection of preparation and disposal. His voice cut through pots and pans. The kitchen tensed. They were hunters, not cooks, sniffing jars, sifting flour, peering into vats. 4 identical decoys still waited on the pass.
What are these?
Extra portions for the staff after service.
The officer grunted and picked one up. Marco heard his blood in his ears. One crack and everything could unravel.
Table 7 spilled a bottle of red wine all over the minister's wife.
Clean this station up. We're not done here.
The crisis pulled him away. Marco knew he had been incredibly lucky. Section 6. A legacy baked in bread. Later that night, news trickled in about an unexpected diplomatic breakthrough. Tensions eased. A trade war was avoided. A key witness agreed to testify. An innocent political prisoner was set to be released. The world saw headlines, handshakes, and speeches. Marco, cleaning his counters at dawn, knew the truth. A small taste, carrying a tiny secret, had shifted history's course. But the world was changing. Cameras smaller, scanners stronger, so he stepped back from high-stakes games. He returned to helping ordinary people. A love letter, a family secret, a child's lost locket in a birthday cake. He grew older but stayed sharp, teaching his daughter Elena the kitchen and the other craft. Food is more than fuel, he told her. It is memory, it is comfort, and sometimes it is a key. Far away, a young baker used the trick to help a family escape a fire by hiding a floor plan in morning rolls. Inside it, a single scrap of paper read, "One small taste can change a story."